So show we got Michael B. Jordan, the director and the star of Creed 3. And you know, we know each other. We go way back all the way to Chad Science in Newark, okay?
The Corny Kid, right?
No, I did not say that. Misquoted for sure. No, you did not hear me say. I said we used to make fun of the name. But yeah, he is obviously killing things out here. How is the difference between you actually directing and working with the same people that you were directed with versus? And was it difficult for you mentally because you're coming out of a different space?
I didn't know he was doing the athletic kid. I mean, I was staying in it. This is about show.
Isn't this the sexiest man show off right here? Well, you're not corny anymore.
So yeah, we gotta talk about it. Michael B. Jordan had an interesting weekend. He was at a premiere event for his movie Creed 3 when he ran into a woman he went to high school with. And the tension between them was awkward at best, as he was quick to remind her that she bullied him for being a, quote, corny kid. Now, she denied it, but he reiterated the fact that, yeah, he did hear her. He remembers it. Now, he was a professional about it. He smiled and was gracious towards her, but he did flex on her a little bit. He started to ignore her while she was talking. However, he did finish the interview. The whole thing was the ultimate come-up moment to say, hey,
you ain't really with me way back then, but how about now? Cause I'm up right now, and you suck right now.
Now, it reminds me of two articles which were released the week prior, one in the New York Post and the other in The Hill. Both are based on a study out of the Pew Research Center that essentially says a majority of young men under 30, 63% are no longer dating, which is up from 51% 4 years ago. And the thing that's so astonishing about it is that these are not men who are members of the rainbow community, these are heterosexual men. These are men who like women. And yet these men are single by choice. They're electively single. They have no interest in women. Now, before I break this down, I need to clarify something. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a sociologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, psychologist, relationship guru, life coach, counselor, therapist, pastor, or clinician. I've studied those topics in college, have about a combined 30 credit hours in those subjects, but that's it. I'm not a professional. I'm a layman. This is the Layman's Journal. I'm just a guy from the audience. I'm not an expert. I comment on culture and I review entertainment media. So I look at articles like these and I give my opinion. I'm no different than the liberal or conservative pundits you see on television or hosts you hear on the radio. But if you want more intelligent analysis on the topic, I recommend Dr. Tiasan Johnson or Jordan Peterson. But getting back to the article, this is a shocking revelation to most people, and by most people I include myself. Because this is not how things have traditionally gone in America. We're used to seeing men getting married early and starting families before their 30s. And that was the tradition up through the 1970s. It's the way our parents and grandparents, boomers, and members of the silent generation did things. But things have deteriorated since then, as feminism has taken stronghold within the culture. Relationships between men and women have gotten worse. And it all started with the boomer generation. They were the first generation exposed to feminism. They were the first generation to reject traditional gender roles and embrace the concept of divorce. Whereas the silent generation, the generation that raised them, got married early and stayed married until death. However, the boomers, even in spite of their divorces, still valued marriage, even though they were doing it wrong. And from there we had Generation X, who gave us the wretched baby mama culture and the idea that a woman can raise a child alone because they don't need a man. Then we moved on to the millennials, who created the hookup culture. They were the ones who killed traditional dating and replaced it with Netflix and chill. But at least they were still having intercourse with each other, because this current generation, the Zennials, are something else altogether. As the article suggests, the men have completely checked out. Like millennials, the overwhelming majority of them don't want to date, but they've taken it a step farther. A lot of them are not even having sex. It's down for the entire generation as a whole, but it's the men that are the leading driver in that decline. The rate of virginity amongst men and men not having relations on a regular basis is at an all-time high within that group. And again, we're not talking about members of the rainbow community. These are heterosexual men who are electively choosing to be single and abstain from relationships. So we've gotten to a point where young men and young women just don't like each other, not even to the extent that they can enjoy recreational relations with each other, which is what the study suggests. One commentator in the article suggested that the popularity of erotic material might be the reason why. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't watch erotic material, I don't self-stimulate, and I don't think it's healthy. No judgment towards those who do. But that stuff has always been around. Men have been doing it since the dawn of time. Now, granted, the internet has made it easier, as you no longer run the risk of shame when going to the nudie bar, or being caught walking in or walking out of a dirty magazine shop. You can now get it on your phone or tablet, that handheld computer that you take with you everywhere. But even with the availability of lewd material, men have traditionally always wanted women. They've always wanted to date. They've always wanted to marry. You see, I used to listen to Dennis Prager on the radio. He's a cultural commentator and Columbia University grad. And on every Wednesday, he'd have his gender hour. And he'd trot out his stats and his sociological studies, and he'd interview psychologists. And throughout their data, they would come to the same conclusion, that men still believe in marriage, that men still think they need women, more so than women believe they need men, even in an age where there were smartphones and tablets. So my point is, this phenomena is new. As the article suggests, it's something that we've seen happening within the last 4 years as Zennials have entered into adulthood. Now, the article contains additional quotes from various academicians, professors, and relationship and family experts that for the most part is a bunch of misandrous drivel. They're just blaming men, accusing them of not being good enough for modern women. There's no attempt to understand why this is happening, nor is there an introspective look to what we're doing wrong within a culture to push young men out of the dating market. But that's a whole nother video, and I'm not going to get into that. But what I want to do is address why this connects to Michael B. Jordan. Now, most people are alarmed by these articles. They believe that this is a sign of irreparable harm. They think we're headed towards a future like Western Europe and Japan, where we're dying out as a people, that we're headed towards this dark future of elder orphans, people growing old without spouses or children to care for them. And I can see that, because if young men aren't dating, they aren't marrying, and that means they aren't having children. But at the same time, women, even modern women, want traditional husbands. They want a man who can provide for them and a family. And as we've seen on Kevin Samuel's channel, they don't want to pay for significant bills. They want him to pay anywhere between 80 and 100% of the bills. Huh? Even average-looking women, fat women, middle-aged women, and women with kids expect that.
Hey, bro, come on now, dawg. Come on, man.
And that's not something that most men under 30 can do. Most men don't hit their financial stride until 35, and they don't reach their peak earning potential until they're in their 40s. So if average and below average women are looking for high earning men, how is a man under 30 supposed to compete? And I'm saying this in the context of the stats posted in the article. As you see here, while 63% of men say they aren't dating, just 34% of women are saying the same. Now, that's led some analysts within the article to conclude this is a sign of younger women dating older men. Okay, but what does that have to do with Michael B. Jordan? Thanks for asking, I'll tell you. Michael B. Jordan today is now the object of lust and affection by many women worldwide. But when he was young, he was regarded as corny. Going back to the opening video, he was bullied. He wasn't getting the girls back then. It wasn't until many years later, a decade plus, 20 years, that he's become the man that he is now, until he was well into his 30s. So do you see where I'm going here? There are a lot of men out there, men who want to be in relationships even though they say they don't. And the reason why I believe they're saying that is because they know they aren't the men that most women are looking for, especially if they're men that are average in looks. Dudes that are handsome, athletic, 6 foot plus aren't the issue. They're still getting plenty of women. But average looking bros who weren't born with those superior genetics, that's a man that has to go out and earn his worth to a woman, and that requires time. So my hope is these men haven't truly checked out, that this is only temporary. that these men are staying away from women to pursue their purpose, to become the best version of themselves so that they can provide for a family. And once they've accomplished their goals, they'll return to the dating pool. And when they do, they won't be choosing from the field of women who laughed and mocked them for being corny in their youth. As the story suggested, they'll likely be going for younger women. Again, once they've achieved their goals. They'll become their version of Michael B. Jordan. Now, I know that's optimism, as most men, like most Americans, would never earn $150K a year. They'll end up making less than half of that. That's just the law of averages, in which case we are screwed as a nation. Most of these men, these 63%, will never find a spouse. And since that's the reality we're facing, we have one or two options. We can either A, teach women to readjust their standards and have them understand that the men they want are in a rarity, or we have to do something about massive inflation. That's made it impossible for average earning men to support a family the way they were able to in the 50s and 60s. Okay, so you've heard me say this a million times. So if you like this video, please give it a like and leave a comment in the comments section and share the link on your social media platforms. And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you'll get alerts every time I upload new content. This is the Laymans Journal. Thanks for stopping by. I'm out.
Hell! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
And while I do appreciate you sharing, subbing, and leaving comments, I'm going to ask that you take another step further in keeping the channel going. I set up a membership plan for those of you who would like to offer further support in the development of this channel. It's not anything expensive or special, I'm just asking for 99 cents a month, which is enough for me to continue doing the work that I do here.
Help me! Help me! Nigga! Help me!
In the future, there will be additional tiers with added benefits, but for right now, I just need your support so that I can cover basic costs. So please, sign up so I can continue bringing you awesome content. This is the Laymans Journal. I'm out.